On Saturday night, Jack Ross quietly slipped onto a coach at Woodhall Services and wished Sunderland supporters a Merry Christmas as they headed home from Portsmouth. On Wednesday, more than 40,000 fans will be at the Stadium of Light cheering the team on. They are not unrelated. The reason the Stadium of Light will be the fullest it has been since it last hosted Premier League football has more to do with the team winning, and no one on that bus will have bought tickets for the visit of Bradford City on the back of a chance meeting with the manager. The 2,647 supporters in Saturday's Fratton Park away end are a snapshot of the incredibly dedicated football fans across the country, and as such, would only not have a ticket for Wednesday if there was no way they could go. But wins alone do not capture the soul of a football club. Sunderland dealt fresh Glenn Leuven's blow following Saturday's red card. One of those on the bus tweeted that Ross' gesture, apologizing for the 3-1 defeat, as well as passing on his best wishes, was just so cool, so Jack Ross. It was so Sunderland, or rather so Sunderland 2018-19. When the year started, the Black Cats were disconnected from their fan base, and their following is so powerful that severely hamstrung them. The owner, Ellis Short, had moved to America and seemed to want as little to do with the club as possible. He had poured a staggering amount of money in, but now the tap had been turned off. Top scorer Lewis Graben no longer wanted to be there, and did not seem like the only one. In Chris Coleman, they had a manager who got what they were about, but avoiding relegation proved beyond him. Sunderland manager Jack Ross applauds the travelling fans at Port Vale. Image, Sunderland AFC via Getty Images. Now it is a very different club. New chairman Stuart Donald communicates with fans where his predecessor blanked them. He does not have short riches, but goes a long way to making up the shortfall. He can often be seen sat or stood with fans at away games, are chatting and having photographs taken in the Stadium of Light fan zone. He has brought the best elements of a small club mentality to a very big club, and the fans have responded, volunteering in huge numbers, for example, to replace the Stadium of Light's faded pink seats. They were symbolic of neglect, and the enthusiastic response a sign of fans buying into a new approach. Ross just fits the landscape. That he seems almost embarrassed that word got out shows it was not a gesture, just the sort of thing decent people do. I didn't think anything of it, he says. Such is the nature of the world we live in at the moment, very little remains private or quiet. It's just a spur-of-the-moment thing. Some of the supporters were inside the services, and to the credit of the players and staff, they'd had a chat with a few of them. As I was walking back to our team coach, their bus was just getting ready to leave. I've done things like this in the past. It's not often you get that personal contact with supporters. I just thanked them for their effort in traveling, and also for their effort over the course of the season. I hope it was received in the right way. There might have been a few thinking he didn't know what he was talking about after we'd lost the game on Saturday, but it's part of my job. I genuinely don't think anything of it. Through my playing and managing career, I've done similar things on occasion, when the occasion presented itself. That was only a snapshot of those that traveled, but those 30 that were on that bus, at least it gave me the opportunity to do so. Ultimately, we'll always be judged on winning games. It's not done for effect, or to try to deflect from losing the game. It shouldn't mean you're less susceptible to criticism. I don't think you can fake it. It's either who you are or who you are not. I'm a football fan. These guys, I'm not patronizing them, I genuinely think it's incredible what they do. But it's because they love football, and hopefully we've got a common ground in that. Perhaps if some past Sunderland managers tried to do similar with a bus full of supporters worn out by one of their longest days of the season and disappointed by defeat, they might not have got such a cheery reception, but the efforts of Donald, Ross and co have put goodwill in the bank they will inevitably need to draw on at times. I didn't open it up to AQ. Maybe if I'd done that, it would have been something different. If you start from a defensive footing, that's when things aren't great, but if you go in with that understanding, a lot of players and managers are very different to how you think they'll be. It's because they, fans, never get the opportunity to speak firsthand to them, and it's skewed a little bit by the emotion of football and the passion people feel for the club. I get that. Sunderland manager Jack Ross celebrates with the fans' image, Sunderland AFC. Sometimes there's a line that people shouldn't cross, and we should never be accepting of that, but I think that's the exception rather than the rule. We live in a society now whereby we assume that the vocal minority are reflective of what people think, when often in reality it's probably not. The vast majority of fans are decent. They might get frustrated or passionate about it, but usually they're alright. I always work on that premise, rather than the opposite. In terms of the effort Ross put in, it was not a big deal. But moments like that are a big reason why Sunderland are once again a force to be reckoned with.